Hey everybody, and welcome to Tai Chi to the People. And I'm Jan, Coach Jan, and Sam is joining us today, who is very active on my YouTube channel. And it's awesome to train with Sam a few days ago. So he's joining from the Philippines. It's awesome. Mark cannot be with us today, but he'll be back next week, I'm sure. And I just want to let you guys know that for the last few days, I've been putting out, and tomorrow and the next day you'll see it as well, more detailed Tai Chi strategy and technique videos for Tai Chi push hands, specifically for grappling. When I say grappling, I mean actual grappling, no like Tai Chi push hands rules or anything like that. The concept is, can you use your Tai Chi push hands concepts to add value, to be strong as a grappler, and to essentially add value to the entire martial system, the overall global martial community, by doing things that are unique to Tai Chi, so that people can see and feel what that really means, so that we can together evolve martial art, not just Tai Chi. So I think that Tai Chi can do a lot for a lot of people. We have these videos, so I hope you enjoy. My intention is to continue to deepen the quality of these videos. So when I say the quality, I mean production value, etc. And if you want to be supportive in that, please check out my Patreon. That's Coach Jan's Tai Chi, or patreon.com/Jan's Tai Chi. And you can become a patron. There's a bunch of perks there. And you'll be helping the channel grow. And I'll be putting more and more time into making these highly detailed videos. I talk about certain concepts, but again, the concept of being able to go a little bit deeper into the camera, into the editing process of it, is something that I absolutely want to do. I just want to make sure you guys are watching it and want to see more. So let me know on Patreon. That said, Jan's Tai Chi, Tai Chi to the People, all of it is part of a larger system that I'm doing with Real World and Justice for Hire. So you can always check out what we're doing on Real World, which is my film technology company. I just put out a really big video yesterday of how I've been promoting it in a very unique way. So if you check out realworld.com or what we're doing on wefunder.com/realworld, REELWURLD, you'll see more about what's going on there. And of course, our very first show that we're producing with the community, making movies and shows with the world, is what Real World is all about. And you'll see our first show called Justice for Hire, the world's first martial arts cinematic universe. Go to justiceforhire.com to learn more. Go to justiceforhire.app to join the cast of Justice for Hire, to be a hero or a villain or a client that hires heroes and villains. It doesn't matter what martial arts you're in. You don't even have to be in martial arts. But if you enjoy that kind of stuff and you want to be in action films and make action films on your phone and with a whole bunch of other people that also want to do the same thing, it is a very fun community. There's a lot of fun things happening, and we have a very big event going on in November, with a deadline of submission deadline of September 9th for the Urban Action Showcase with Warner Media, and make your own action scene, remaking something from Batman or the Avengers, or the 5 Deadly Venoms, or Transporter, or Jackie Chan's Super Cop. Those are the 5 films that you can remake scenes from in your own way, and just go. Everything that you need to know about that is on justiceforhire.com. So Sam is back with us, and today we are going to do some training, of course, and some detailed training. I'm actually interested in Sam's, if Sam wants to see anything in particular based on our training from the last week, because Sam and I did some personal training on this past weekend, and I'm very interested. Sam, is there anything that you want to go over or to dive into and share, and maybe I can expand upon for the larger community, that you'd like to see for our for Tai Chi push hands, etc. To today? Sam, can you hear me? Not sure if you can.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Is there any technique or anything that you want to work on today, or ideas you want to expand upon with the larger community today in Tai Chi?
Who, me?
Yeah. I'm asking you for the theme.
Oh, sorry, I just logged in.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh,
okay.
Well, okay. Well, for now, just follow you. No problem. I just follow your agenda.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I'm gonna pin this mute and pin this so that everyone can see, and we'll go for it. Okay, guys, so one idea that I was really deeply thinking about today, last year for my birthday, and I've shared this several times on the channel. I trained, my family and I, we went to go and train with one of Jet Li's dear choreographers and martial arts trainers here in Los Angeles, a Wushu, a wonderful Wushu practitioner. And I just remember how he was doing a particular move. And you've probably seen this move in Wushu where you spin and you slap the ground. And we were just doing this spinning, this windmill. And I remember how he was doing the windmill. And he was, you know, he's an older gentleman, very seasoned, absolute veteran, absolute master. What I'm clarifying and identifying here is the tension in his fingers. Now, it wasn't super tight, but it was tight enough for me to feel the tightness from a distance. I was like, huh. But, you know, he could still do the movements, and they were very beautiful. The reason I'm bringing this up is because when I first started in Shaolin, at the USA Shaolin Temple under Xian Ming, one of my advantages of being in that school, which I was later on kicked out of, totally different, wonderful story that I always love alluding to and not telling. But one of the things that helped me stand out in that school was something that Sam and I were talking about this weekend, which is the color visualization. And I want to do this exercise with the color visualization, with the concept of the fingers as you inhale, feeling like straws, and as you exhale, feeling like hoses pushing color out, pushing the energy out. So as you inhale, sucking the color in, exhale, pushing the color out. Remember, all the breath work that we do, all the visualization we do is consistent. We are consistently feeling and seeing the color going into our bellies and pushing the color through our limbs with every single breath relentlessly. There is no break at all. And the only time that you will deviate from this, I'm saying relentlessly, if you are not used to doing this, this is going to help you bring it into your lifestyle. And once it is a part of your lifestyle, it's natural, then you can deviate just like any other thing. Once you become very, very proficient and become second nature, then you can start deviating and doing other things. But this is so important because so many people do not practice this. And it is a major component to being able to have strong control over the attention and intent, to shift the quality of your attention and to be very clear with your intent. So we're going to just warm up for a moment, and then we're going to go into that windmill. Imaginary string with you from the top of the head, feet shoulder width apart parallel, the tailbone falling downward as if there's a weight on it. A weight on it, boom, notice the tailbone falls. This is not a tuck, meaning my hips are not going forward, just dropping straight down. Imaginary string lifts you up. You should feel relaxation cascading down each vertebrae, falling farther away from the last. So it should feel like this. And then the next one goes like this, and then they just keep on falling downward, the vertebrae. That sensation will go into your hips. The hips, when you feel that weighted tailbone drop, should feel like a bowl. As the tailbone drops, the bowl becomes balanced. The hips should feel like a bowl of water. And then the knees soften so that you shift your weight to your center of your heel and the knees soften. So the weight goes back and soften, and it helps you get this wonderful posture that we consistently use. We consistently use this posture. So we're going to utilize all the tools to get to that comfort, that place of comfort and feeling very passive but aware. Palms facing flat down. Special attention on the middle finger of each hand, mouth closed, tongue gently placed on the ceiling of your mouth, and very subtle, slight tension in the anus, very, very subtle. All the breathing with the lower dantian, 3 finger lengths below the belly button. You're going to use this area of the belly to breathe, starting at first. Eventually, you'll start to use the obliques and the lower back, and you'll want the entire belt activated. But right now, we're going to start with the belly, and we're going to feel that color the breath as a color go deep inside the body, almost on the line of the spine, your central line. And you're going to see and feel the color expand as the belly expands. Inhaling through the nose, all the breathing in and out through the nose. Inhaling through the nose into the belly button. Exhale, wash the color down the arms to the palms and fingertips. Inhale deep. Exhale, wash down. And when you exhale, wash the hands down. Remember, we're talking about the concept of the color washing down the arms like a hose. It should feel like it's blasting out, even gently, but still blasting out of the palms and fingertips, at least an inch or two beyond, just to here, if not lower. If you want, you can inhale and feel the color through. Of course, you're going to inhale through your nose. I'm not saying inhale from somewhere else, but the attention, you can keep the attention going in through the nose and then out through the arms. But you can also shift into what we were talking about earlier, where the fingers are like straws, and you inhale, draw the color in, and exhale, wash it down. Now, if you are focusing completely on the fingers, I recommend as you inhale, the color washing up the inside of the arms, the soft part on the inside into the belly. As you exhale, the color washing down the outside of the arms, off the top of the fingertips, and then falling downward. So inhaling on the soft part of the body, exhaling on the hard part of the body. That is a very, very subtle detail. So if you're new to this, just focusing on the color coming up and down the arms is totally fine. But when you start refining your attention, if you feel comfortable, go for that, and it'll help you even more. Inhaling deep, exhaling down. Again, this exercise is called Gilded Pillar. And soften the color to the fingertips. Inhaling out, breath lifts the wrists, wrists lift the body. Exhale, push the color to the palms and fingertips. So now we're really utilizing that straw, the fingers like straws, drawing into the belly, interlace the fingers, exhaling down, spreading out to the body, inhaling up, down the arms into the belly. You're stretching out of the hips and you're on your toes. So I'm on the balls of my feet, my toes. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Even deeper. Exhale down. Inhaling up. That was breathing formula 2 that we're finishing up right now. We're going to do breathing formula 3 now. Inhaling up, the breath is lifting the wrists. Color into the belly. Exhale, pushing out to the palms of fingertips. Inhale, color washing down the arms as you inhale. Inhaling even deeper. Even deeper, 3-stage inhalation. Exhale, washing the color out. And breathing formula 4, one big breath with 4 stages. Stage 1, even deeper 2, even deeper 3, even deeper 4. Exhaling, exhalation just as long as the inhalation, if not longer. We're going to do the 4-stage inhalation again. You can do it at your own speed because it's all about expanding your own lung capacity. However, what I want to really mention here is the importance of you finding the rhythm for your lung capacity of each stage, meaning that stage 1, you can see it in my body. Stage 2, even deeper. Stage 3, even deeper. Stage 4, even deeper. One big breath, exhaling down. The reason I'm emphasizing this is because when we do this exercise, which I don't want to mispronounce the name because I forgot what it was, what they called it at the Shaolin Temple. It's like Chuji Chuan Chan Limbei Sai Jiao, something like that. But anyway, when you do this windmill, you're going to find your own rhythm. Every person will find it a little bit differently. I will describe mine today. But when you do this exercise and your feet are essentially double shoulder width apart, when we do this exercise, we're not going to do it right now, I'm just going to show you an example. You're going to inhale 1, exhale 2, inhale 3, exhale 4, and go down and slap the ground. So that's a 4-stage inhalation. So we're whipping, inhale, exhale. Actually, it's an inhalation, exhalation, inhalation, exhalation. But you can do it at 4-stage too. 1, 2, 3, boom, 4. You can do 3 big inhalations and then an exhalation. In the same way, the concept of this multi-stage breath, one breath, multiple stages, happens with combinations, with whether you're grappling or throwing strikes, etc. So all of these things, all of these different manifestations, physical manifestations, are utilizing the same foundational multi-stage breath work and visualization. When you have the visualization connected to the breath, it'll make all of these things look more beautiful, feel more amazing in your body because you'll feel more connected, and just so many health benefits as well. So let's bring all of that right back to right here. Inhaling stage 1, even deeper stage 2, finding the rhythm for yourself, even deeper 3, deeper 4, stretching out of the hips onto the toes, exhaling down. Now I want to give 2 more sets of details for this, and maybe I'll make a video just on this one exercise. It is a very basic exercise with a lot of depth to it. So again, it's called uplifting heaven. So first, you often hear me talk about this, which is it'll be belly, obliques, lower back, and then the entire belt, the muscle groups. Now we're starting our focus with our main intention on the color. Now we're going to add the muscle. A lot of times people start with the muscle and they don't focus on the breath work and the visualization. Power lifters are great examples of folks who utilize the breath work and muscle fiber in conjunction, but don't necessarily utilize the visualization of the breath, meaning the color visualization that helps to give you a vehicle for your attention. So, and I'm not saying powerlifters aren't fantastic, because they are fantastic and they're great. They adapt wonderfully to Tai Chi and push hands. What I'm getting at is there are people that coordinate their breathing with their muscles, but they don't necessarily bring the visualization in. So we're doing all 3 at the same time here, and we're emphasizing breath and visualization before emphasizing muscle. So now we're going to emphasize muscle. Inhale, use the belly. The color's still going in. Even deeper with the obliques, so that you should feel the obliques here expand out. They'll expand outward. So 1, 2, feel them expand out. And now your lower back should expand out. So 3. And now the entire belt, each one of them, all of them working together, 4. And you should feel like a bell, the bottom of a bell, expanding out at the same time. Then, of course, exhale. So let's do it again. Belly, obliques, lower back, belt. 1, belly, obliques, lower back, belt. And you should experience a deeper level of feeling oxygenated. You should feel the oxygen, like, oh my gosh, it should feel great. In addition to having the deeper sense of muscle awareness, in addition to having a deeper sense of circulation with the breath work and visualization. Of course, each one of these sensations takes time for you to process. There's a lot of data happening at once. So the more you do this, I would say that, find one thing to focus on. Make sure that thing is probably the breath or the visualization. Feel that deeply first, and then start adding the muscle groups over time. And you can always reference these videos over and over again, etc., or reach out to me directly for any questions, thoughts, or ideas on this, because it does take time, but I'm doing my best to distribute the information on multiple levels at once. So one other note, the second detail is going to be the feet. So check this out. So when you're doing this exercise and we go onto our feet and we go down, it's really, it often happens where someone will, inhaling up, even deeper, will go up and watch my feet. Notice that my ankle's twisted. So I'm actually mostly on my pinky toes right now, rather than on the big toe and the adjacent toe. So emphasize the big toe and the ball of the foot rather than the pinky. So rather than turning out, try to keep the weight on the inside of the leg. This concept, again, keeping the weight going down the inside of the leg, it has been emphasized in Grandmaster William C.C. Chen's reverse breathing Tai Chi form, where the pressure goes down, the muscles wrap around the leg as you soften the back, hip, and knee. So when you soften into the front leg, it goes down the inside of the leg. It helps to create a very strong root. So when you're wrestling, boom, you're playing, or doing push hands, you're playing off this front leg. And notice that I'm pivoting, I'm doing all this stuff. I can strike, but I'm staying on this front leg. Very, very important, because you are creating more structural integrity for your balance. This helps to save your knees. It helps to save you when you're walking down the street or when you're doing any particular movements, etc. And it's that level of detail of the awareness that's going to help you avoid injuries. So I highly recommend when you do this exercise or any exercise where you're going on your toes, really make sure that you are very clear of when where your weight is focused. Remember, we have the concept of the 3 nails. So it's the heels, the balls of the feet, and the big toe. The second you take pressure off the big toe and put it on the pinky, you are not as focused on that 3 nail system. And I highly recommend to bring your focus back. And you'll feel it all the way through the thighs, etc. There are, of course, variations of this. I don't claim that you can't do it another way, and you can't put the weight on the outside of the foot. You can. I've just noticed an immense value and feel very protected in my experience, especially under massive pressure from larger opponents or very skilled, highly skilled opponents, or any particular scenario where I just came off a scooter. That was scooter, but I know exactly where my weight is. You want to know where your weight is, and you want to be intentional with it, and you want to be massively confident. And it takes time to build up the massive confidence. But as long as you're repeating these things, you will draw the confidence, as long as you're not hurting yourself in the process. Meaning that if you are doing anything that I'm suggesting, and you're finding pains in any particular place, feel free to ask a question. And I definitely, there's always ways to adjust and still get benefit, because what we're focusing on is being more intentional and stronger willpower, attention, awareness. So there's many different ways to do it, not just the way I'm sharing, but my intent in sharing is to deepen the intentional focus. So one more time. Deep up, they have it even deeper, even deeper, even deeper. Exhaling out. Of course, you guys know the shoulder blade should be disappearing so we're not out here, we're out here, and the hands coming down, back to the side. So every time you do uplifting heaven, in this variation, the hands will be coming out to the side in front of you, rather than opening up to the side here. So, however, we are now going to shift. We're going to shift to a fingers going straight to the shoulders exercise. So, you know what? Let's warm up the hips first before we do this. Let's go for our next warm up that we normally do. Hollow fists, rested right on the hips, and pelvis rotates on the femur, exhaling down. Feet shoulder length and a half apart. We're in our half forward stance. Breath pulls you up. Eyes on the belly button. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Eyes on the belly button. Exhaling down. Remember, this is dragon whips its head. And one more. And reverse it. Remember, the breath, as you inhale, should feel like a rope that you're climbing. So you're still focused on that color visualization, and you're exhaling, releasing that rope. Inhaling. And exhaling, releasing that rope. And exhale, drop the hands down. Inhale, breath lifts you up. Exhale out. Inhale deep. Exhale down. And you know, we haven't done the yin set in a while. I keep on adding an exercise. We're going to do just inhale deep, exhale down. Just golden tortoise. Going to get this little bit of first exercise of the yin set, which is actually a yang exercise. Remember, we're warming up with this attention circuit. We're inhaling, breath lifts the wrist. Exhale, push the color to the palms of fingertips. Inhale, breath pulls the wrist back. Notice that the color visualization has shifted from just pushing and pulling through the fingertips to the pulley system concept of the breath pulling the wrists. And then exhale, fingers softly floating down. And wherever the fingers point is where on your back the muscles are softening. So exhaling down, all the way down. Down the legs, heels, ankles to the ground. Inhaling out one more time. Soften all the way down to the heels into the ground. Inhaling up, even deeper, hollow fist. And you're going to exhale, pelvis rotates on the femur. Eyes looking straight down, elbows in front of the eye, straight line from the top of the head to your tailbone. So if you notice that I'm a little bit bent over here, that means, first of all, you always want to be able to, if you have a mirror or something, that's great. If not, that's okay. And just make sure, bend the knees, butt back, chest parallel to the ground, straight line from the top of the head. You can feel everything kind of lock into position, into the optimal position. Inhaling to the belly. Exhale down the legs into the ground. Inhale to the belly. Exhale, wash the color through the lungs, strengthening the lungs. Inhale to the belly. Exhale, wash the color down the arms with the palms and fingertips like a hug. Inhaling deep and exhale, spread the color wherever you want to gain strength. Inhale, open the hands. And exhale, reach the color straight back, the hands straight back, palms facing the sky or ceiling. And then lift the collarbone, tuck in the chin. To reestablish that posture. Make sure you keep the weight on the heels, knees bent. Really adjust yourself. Inhale to the belly. Exhale, spread the color throughout the whole body. Inhale deep. Exhale to the whole body, wherever you want to soften. Inhale deep. Exhale, spread the color to any parts that need some extra warmth or to be cooled down and not be too hot. Inhale deep. Exhale. Soften the hands downward. Inhale, breath lifts you up. Exhale to the palms of fingertips. Inhale deep. And exhaling down. So we're just shifting sides. Draw the color up. Exhale. Kick it down. Just kick. Soften the muscle around the bone. And let the blood cascade down to the toes. And switch sides. Exhaling down. Notice that I exhale, soften the hip. And all the weight's going down. The emphasis is going down the inside of the leg rather than the outside of the leg. Inside the leg. Notice that when I go to the inside of the leg, look at my nose. Look at my center line. It goes right down to my heel. If I drew this line right up here, it cuts right down to my heel. So I know exactly where my power is. I'm just gonna, where my weight is very, very focused on my heel. Notice that my tailbone is also pointed down. And if I want to tuck and bend the knee a little bit more, I get even more stability. So I'll do exactly that as I drop down, inhale up, draw the color into the belly. Notice that I have this wonderful shield here, like I was going to throw a side kick. And I just exhale, push the color out. Soften the muscle around the bone, should feel like jello. And as you exhale, the color visualization goes through the toes. And it should feel like a whip. And this exact sensation, inhale, exhale, just on the leg is what we're going to be bringing into this wheel, this wonderful wheel exercise. So this exercise, you're going to have widened and shoulder width apart. So shoulder width, double shoulder width. And we're going to use, in Tai Chi, Wu style Tai Chi is my, it's not really my first style Tai Chi, but it's the one that I've done the most dedicated for the longest time. And it's the first true Tai Chi system that I ever had a grasp on. I was taught Yang style by my father first. However, I learned Wu style push hands immediately after learning a very short Yang form. What I'm getting at is just this position. I said all that just to say this one thing. Wu style has this position a lot. This very, very soft, very martial position where you're essentially protecting your thumbs. So in Wushu, you might find that very, very rigid, very stiff. And oftentimes in Wushu, from my experience, this is no disrespect meant to any Wushu stylists, the posture of this position is normally not, it's a different type of stiffness, of tension than a karate stylist. And a karate stylist, in my experience, will likely have a more martial, much more martial, protected. Sometimes they'll hide the middle finger, they'll put it down. Sometimes you'll see multiple, but it'll be very much for chopping, for that chop to the collarbone, chop to the neck. And they're really holding the blade to chop in, which is awesome. I think it's absolutely awesome. In my experience, coming from Wu style, you don't really create the tension until moments before impact. And this also comes from my father's training in Kung Fu when I was younger, both my parents, especially praying mantis Kung Fu, which is the closest, or arguably the closest Kung Fu system to Tai Chi anyway. So what I'm getting at is that before impact, that's when the tension comes and then it's released. From push hands experience and from getting my thumbs trapped in people's clothing, which sucks because then you can get your thumb either you don't want to get it dislocated. I've gotten this finger dislocated, but you can get it jammed. I used to get my fingers jammed a lot, and that's because I didn't have, my fingers were too soft and too loose, and I was attempting to bring my Tai Chi mentality that wasn't mature enough to my martial experience. So what I'm saying all this to get at the concept and the value of keeping the shape, but keeping it soft. And then when you need the tension, you can always bring the tension in, but do your best to keep the shape and keep it soft. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they will call this the bear paws. John Machado, a mentor and advisor for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for me, would talk about having the bear paws on the elbow and pummeling in with your bear paws. And that pummel is actually the same thing that you're doing with this position in Kung Fu, karate, etc. So when you're pummeling in, you're swimming into your opponent and doing your 50-50 clinch and you're wrestling, the same posture as doing this is just angled differently. So the concept, in my opinion, from my experience, remains the same, that you soften the hand until you absolutely need to create this thin, strong, this thin, sharp shape. And then you push through and then you release it as soon as possible, because otherwise it's unnecessary tension that you're keeping in your body, which costs you energy. It costs you attention, and it costs the body over time. So I'm saying all that to connect right back to this. When we do this exercise, we're going to bring that concept of the fingers being the straws, sucking the color in, and you're going to keep the general shape, but keep it as soft as you can without losing structural integrity. So you don't want to be loose like this. You don't want to be open like this. We're going to keep the fingers together. We're going to keep the thumb protected. The reason you pull the thumb back, the reason you pull it back is so that it doesn't get caught in clothing. it doesn't get jammed or broken, etc. You don't want to stick it too forward, because if you're hitting somebody with this area, you're going to hit the bone. So you pull it back and you have this wonderful posture here. So we're going to keep it soft. We're going to inhale. And you know what? We'll start out here. We're going to inhale, and you can keep I'm pivoting on my ball, my foot, and you're going to keep the hands opposite angles. Exhale. So 1, 2. Just do your best to keep the arms opposite directions at all times. And notice that you have to pivot on the foot. You have to pivot on the foot. So you can pivot on the ball of the foot, and you can even pivot on the heels if you want. Now, if you notice my toe right here, I just pivoted on my heel as an experiment on camera. I've done that before as well, and sometimes I'm doing it here to just spin, and it's great. But in general, when I start these exercises out, I do my best to keep my perspective of Tai Chi, which is a little bit different than the Taiwanese, and the Taiwanese and push hands are really the best in the world. I love them. I love the Taiwanese team. I always shout them out. But there are certain things that I find a little dangerous about the foot positioning and the kneecaps and the heels. And so one of those things is pivoting heel and toe, doing a heel toe. And there's a dance move called heel toe, but this heel toe move it can be helpful and is absolutely something you want to utilize sometimes. But I do it sparingly. And this exercise, I would say that you work up to the heel toe. Do not do it immediately, because you want to feel your structural integrity before you deviate from structural integrity. Or at the very least, you want to be able to maintain structural integrity during something that is, I would consider a more wild move. To me, this is the equivalent of doing a cartwheel in the air in Tai Chi. And that's because you really are taking weight and spinning it and grinding it into your legs and your joints. And I think it's oftentimes, in my opinion, not worth it to risk grinding my joints ever. And I'm very, very fortunate to not have joint issues, but still, I know a lot of folks who have, and I learned from them, and I'm cautious. So instead of doing that, I'd recommend keeping one foot planted. So when we're here, inhale up, 1, 2, now both feet planted, other foot opens up, and I'm reaching, and down. And now, whatever hand just came down is now coming across and up, inhaling up, exhaling down. And so now, I want to bring the breath into this. I'm inhaling, drawing the color in as I go up on one side. And I'm exhaling as the other hand comes down. And I'm inhaling. And you want to find the rhythm for yourself, because that's what I was saying earlier. You really want to find it for yourself. The breath work that I'm suggesting right now is from my experience and what I feel the most comfortable with. So some people might say, just breathe naturally. I do not agree with that. I would say breathe intentionally. And so I am actively pulling the color into my belly. And now, once I pass my center line, that is normally something that I do personally. The second I pass center line, whether on the bottom or the top, that's when I give myself a note to switch the breath work. Meaning I'll either start inhaling or start exhaling on when I pass center line. So exhaling here, inhaling again, exhaling here, inhaling again. I want to give myself an internal compass, like a meter more so. I want to give myself a meter, tick tock, in, out, in, out. And as long as I know in, out, and I can start to bring that into my punches, into my kicks, and I can bring that into all of my martial experiences. And it's all coming from the breath. I'm finding the rhythm in the breath first, and then I bring it into the body, rather than finding it in the body and then, and not to say that that's wrong to find it in the body, but I think it's an amazing experience, and there's a lot of value in finding it in the breath. And a lot of times that's left out from this martial training. So let's go, now let's add one concept here. We're gonna start, instead of with one arm just coming across, we're gonna start with one arm as if you're blocked here or underneath. So let's start with the arm underneath. We're gonna start right here. One, and now look at the bottom arm. It's gonna open up, inhaling. So now through both hands, I'm pulling the color in. Exhale. Inhaling, pulling the color in. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And remember, when you're inhaling and exhaling, it's not simply that. You're pushing the color out or you're drawing it in. So draw the color in, push the color out. So another note is that if you don't want to use your center line as the when to start the inhalation or exhalation, consider using the parallel line that would be your arms to the ground. So the second that this is part of, I always talk about this, sensing the geometry of the room in relation to yourself, of your environment in relation to yourself. And this is very, very, very important for push-ups. One of the most important strategic thinking styles that you can possibly have in martial arts, and is the ability for you to map out the angles from your body to your environment. So important, especially when it comes to the concept of ring awareness, meaning that I have a space, a set space that I'm playing in, and I need to know how close this bookshelf is so I can move it out of the way. How many steps? Is it half a step for myself, etc.? It's really important. So you can also, rather than changing the inhalation and exhalation here, you can change it here. And so I inhale here, exhale here. So now as I went just past this point, inhale here. Now going past this point, exhale here. Or you can do it halfway in between. The whole point is that I've incrementally set my markers in my mind and for my body to know when I'm going to start the inhalation and exhalation. So I know that it's okay if I start here, or here, or here, or here, as long as I'm intentional with when I do it, so that I can be intentional with the next breath. Inhale, drawing the color in, exhaling out. Inhale, draw in, exhaling out. And so now, let's start doing this exercise from that we're actually going to touch the ground. So you don't have to drop into a full snake stance for this exercise. If you can, that's great. The concept here is going to be come up, over, pivot, and you're going to stay looking forward and touch the ground as much as you can. The concept is going to be to slap the ground, slapping the ground. And I will give a disclaimer, I am not the most flexible person. As a matter of fact, this stance is a stance that I've actually had challenges with since childhood. There's a photo right now in the other room that I found a few weeks ago that I always think about, because it's me with my parents' friends, Eddie and Virginia. And they were my parents' like martial training, like dear friends when I was growing up. And Eddie was like my dad's training partner, and they would all go out and train all the time. Anyway, I'm with them, and they're doing these very low Tai Chi stances at like a Chen Village competition that I was at when I was a little kid. And I'm trying to do the stance, and I'm like still off the ground, like, but I'm holding down. They're like much older than me, holding these amazing postures as well. So it's always been this pubu, as it's called, the snake stance, has always been a challenge for me ever since I was a little kid. It's still somewhat of a challenge for me, but I can do it, but I can't do it well. The point is not necessarily to do the stance well, because otherwise I'd be a Wushu style flipping everywhere. That's not what I do. what my intention is to be able to showcase that the breath work can work really well here, whether you're doing this in your Tai Chi form, or you're going all the way down, dropping down, etc. Or even if you're doing the small stance, this is the reverse breathing. That was the reverse breathing snake creeps down. So however you do it, just make sure, and we're gonna add another note here of the color visualization blasting through the hands. This is going to be super important as well, especially for those who are more used to keeping the arms as stiff as a board. If you're very used to keeping the arms as stiff as a board, that does not mean that you're probably not great at doing the angular positions of Wushu, but there is a more explosive, softer, more water-like flowing experience that you might have through this type of breath work, etc. So we're going to stay focused on, I'm going to use my right hand, and my right hand is going to slap the ground. So let's start here. If the right hand starts the ground, I'm going to turn to my left. I'm going to inhale and start drawing the color in through my fingers. My left arm comes behind my right. Inhale, opens up. I turn to my left, shifting my weight, favoring my right. I turn to my right and twisting my left arm. Still inhaling, and now I exhale going past here, and I'm going all the way down, still exhaling, and now this hand is filling with the energy, with the visualization, with the quote-unquote chi. I'm pushing the color visualization right down here, and I drop with my hips and I touch the ground, slapping the ground. And now I'm going to inhale, come up. And I'm doing the opposite side. Now my left hand comes up, and my right hand goes right underneath. And inhale even deeper. Exhale. 1. Inhale. And here I exhale, drop, 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 drop. Inhaling up. And you get to this, you don't have to necessarily come back to this position. But I think it's a nice idea of coming back to guard. So I come back here to this guard-like position. Inhaling up. Drawing the color in, so you guys can see more detail. Inhaling even deeper. Notice that my fingers are still drawing that color in, like a straw, sucking in milkshake. And exhale, pushing the color through my right hand as I drop my hips, and my waist softens downward. Hips dropping, waist softening, slap. Inhaling up. And I go right to that guard position. The guard position, again, so important from a martial perspective of having that moment to reset. If you throw a strike, having that other hand up to guard you, you should always be able to reset from your strikes. Otherwise, you might start getting into the concept of just constant martial movement with no realistic protection for yourself. You have to protect your face. You have to protect the body. You have to bring yourself back. And these are wonderful moments to remind you, block, come in. And you can even, some people might be a little more angular with this, and rather than open and Wushu. I recommend doing the openness if you aren't used to it. If you are not used to keeping the chest open and really extending through, this is a great exercise to open the rib cage, etc. And then when you do your Tai Chi, you can keep it more soft and shoulders down, etc. But this exercise is great. One of the best I've ever encountered for really stretching, especially the upper intercostal muscles at the top of the rib cage. Inhale deep. And now right here, I'm passing my center line. That means I'm starting my exhalation. Notice that my weight is on the ball of this back foot, and my heel is up, and I'm going to spin the heel down. The heel is spinning down, exhaling down. So I spin it, and it opens up. I'm going to get you this detail a little more deeply here. Check this out. Really important detail. This detail happens in push hands all the time. That's the reason I want to clarify. So we just came up from the left side, going to the right. I'm on my heel, and then ball the foot. And now watch the heel. Spins down, and then the foot opens. So I pivot on the ball of the foot, transfer to pivoting on the heel, and then I exhale down and slap the ground. and then inhale, coming up, boom. I in my front stance, gongbu. Inhaling deep, heel, ball of foot, heel, and then. So we will speed this up just so you guys can get a sense. This is again this is one of my favorite exercises from Shaolin, from Shaolin Kung Fu in terms of a line drill. More specifically, you would turn, step, come up, go down, and then do your boom, come back up, and then stomp the ground. It's a really great exercise when you bring the color visualization into it. My Sifu, Wu style Sifu, Kiftong, when I would do this exercise at the park in Chinatown, he would caution me that over time it will wear down the knees. And I was always aware of that, and I always took that with as proceed with caution, meaning that I don't do these exercises overzealous. I have no intention to do my stomp over and over again so I hurt my knee, etc. I'm doing my stomp in a light way because I want to make sure that when my hand hits, the color visualization as I exhale goes down my leg and into the ground. So I want to make sure I feel all of that happening. And I have a neighbor downstairs, so I don't want to do it too much. But and I mentioned that because we're not going to do the stomp right now, because that's a more time-consuming exercise, and it's a different exercise than what we just did. I'm mentioning that because we still have this concept of the drop here. So when you do this drop, it's not to hit the ground hard, it's to hit the ground explosively. And when I mean explosively, I don't simply mean as much power as you can swing your arm into it, because you can hurt yourself and you don't want to do that. You want to be able to touch something with explosiveness. That means that you want to be able to focus your visualization, your breath work, your weight distribution, your relaxation of your muscles, all these things into a small moment where a great amount of pressure is delivered without necessarily swinging hard. And all that means is small circles add up. The smaller the circle, the greater centrifugal force, and the more circles you add, the more force and power can be generated in a small space. Hence Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch. I'm not saying that I do the 1-inch punch, but there are a bunch of other things that I do that have that same concept in it. And if you do Tai Chi, you probably already do these concepts. It's just a matter of you know, how dynamically can you apply them in small moments, and how can you apply them strategically. So here we have all these small circles coming down. That's why I was highlighting that the ball of the foot, heel, open up at the end. Notice that my knee and my toe move at the same speed. They do not separate. My toe is never moving independently, or my knee is never moving independently. I'm always moving my toes and my knees at the same time. They're always moving together. And that helps me protect myself all the time. It's one of the greatest gifts. So when you're doing your Tai Chi form, make sure that when that toe turns, the knee turns and the hip opens. The hip joint is rotating. Thigh, hip, rotate. Same on each side. And you can practice that right here, inhaling up. Toes, knee, all of it moving, and you get all of that spinning down. Exhale, inhaling up. Exhale, inhaling up. Exhale, inhaling up. And so notice that I just took out the martial movement, which could be confusing, which is the coming back to guard. So right now, just focusing on this, just to get the exercise in. And let's keep on going with it a few more times. And each time we'll speed it up a little bit. But make sure you stay focused on the breath work. And really feel how this opens you up. Feel how the inhalation, as you speed it up, you might find that you take one breath in when you come up and then one breath down. That's totally fine. The whole thing is you want to be intentional about that one breath. You still want to feel the color sucking in through the fingertips the entire time. So that means that as you speed it up, each one of your fingers, you're aware of feeling that color rush up the arms into the belly. So that it almost feels like the hips and the body, that the waist and the core is lifting out of the hips as you come up. So inhaling. Again, I'm not hitting the ground very hard. Not hitting the ground hard at all, for multiple reasons. One, I don't want to create too much noise for my neighbors. And two, the concept is really more so about how can I gently touch something, but know that I'm generating power. Power is not necessarily overt. As a matter of fact, most of the things that generate overt effects are very, very subtle. And that's what we're always talking about, these wonderful small circles that, if you do Wushu style is great as a small circle style. So let's stretch up. Let's get our breath first. Uplifting heaven. Big breath. Exhaling down. Inhaling up, even deeper. Exhale. One more. Exhale. And now bring the feet 2 fists apart, meaning that my heels, see my toes right here, the legs, 2 fists apart. Inhale, breath lifts the wrist. Wrist lift the body, fingers back, chest up, hips forward, window toes. Exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Soften the knees. Inhaling up. Even deeper, fingers, chest, hips, stretch. Exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Soften. Back, chest up, forward, window toe. Exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Inhale deep. And this time, we're going to step out and wash color down one way. Inhaling up, turn to the left side. Exhale, wash color down the other way. I remember I was at a demonstration for the other Shaolin temple in New York, Shaolin Shaolin Temple, which is the officially recognized Shaolin temple in New York. Which the USA Shaolin Temple was not, because they considered the Shaolin monks considered Shaolin a defector from the Shaolin Temple. So his Shaolin Temple was not considered the official, which is the one I got kicked out of. But Shaolin, his Shaolin Temple was considered the official. Anyway, and I was at the time. I remember going to a demonstration for the movie Shaolin, which is excellent, with Andy Lau. If you have not seen it, Jackie Chan's in it too. Nicholas is in it. It's amazing. Watch Shaolin. It's fantastic. Some of the best death scenes you will ever see in any film. It's so great. Very, very inspiring because of how the monks, they reconnect to their center line before death in battle. It's amazing. I cannot emphasize enough. But I remember Shigolin's top student was taking impact at the movie theater from anybody in the audience who wanted to hit him. So of course I raised my hand to hit him. And so the exercise that he did before taking the impact was this exercise. And I could see him doing this amazing color visualization. I talked to him about it as well. Exhaling, washing down. Actually, for this demonstration, it was actually Shigolin himself who I met several times. And there was another demonstration with his student in Chinatown that I also hit them. Anyway, exhaling, washing down, that color washing down. He was described generally as the chi, inhaling the chi into the belly, see the color, exhaling, washing it down, really just preparing the body or repairing the body. Whatever intention you weave into this visualization is up to you. Inhaling, pulling the chi up the front of the body. And then exhaling, washing it down the backs of the legs. Feel the stretch as deeply as you can. Inhaling up, pulling it up the front of the body. Turn to one side, exhale, wash it down. Inhale and pull it up, and exhale, wash it down. And just for a moment, fold the arms and hang. Soften the head, the upper back, the neck, the upper back, the middle back, the lower back. From here, bend the knees and put your forearms right above your kneecaps. And put your weight onto the thighs. And open the fingers. Open in the fingers and drop the butt. Feel the stretch inside the groin. Be gentle with yourself. Notice that my toes and my knees, once again, are aligned. Very intentionally aligned, even during stretching. And I come up again and fold the arms and hang. Put the hands down, walk the feet in once, fold the arms and hang. So I just made my stance smaller. Hands down, walk the feet in once, fold the arms and hang. And inhale, second the belly button. One vertebrae at a time, you're coming up. Inhale deep. And go down one more time and slap the legs. Coming up. Other side, arms, shoulders, and back. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Two more. Just the fingertips. Soften weight on the heels. Fingertips falling down. And flick the fingers out. Thumbs, flick the thumbs. Massage around the chest. And tap around pectoral major. The fingers tapping into the chest and massage into pressure points, the lymph nodes, floating rib up. And other side. Four fingers on the sternum, up and down for the immune system. Hook shape on the collarbone. Hook shape on the under the lip and squeeze with your hormones. Switch. Ears, massage, lobe, and then up, over, down, under. Strong pressure. Up on the face to the side, release. Up to the side, release. Up to the side, release. Take that. If you have a hat on, take it off. And then fingers through, past the scalp, and back, over, back through the scalp, and back. And massage on the scalp, front to back, and back to front. Slapping front to back, and front hollow fist, gentle banging, front to back to front. Grab the scalp, knead it like dough. Another patch, another patch, another patch. And then reverse it. Another patch, another patch, another patch. Four fingers on top of the forehead, one, two, and reverse it. Temples, and reverse it. Under the eyes, and reverse it. To the heart, switch. Sides, top, sides, bottom. Under the gums and tongue. And reverse it. Press and hold. Massage, 1, 2, 3. And drive the thumb up. Along this natural line, the groove, and massage at the pressure point. Just near the top of the forearm. Then thumb goes onto the pocket of the elbow. And fingers back here to get a nice grip and massage with the thumb into the pressure point, and then drive the thumb down to just above the pulse and massage on this wonderful pressure point around here. And then the other side, press and hold, massage, 1, 2, 3. And then take the thumb, push down, and drive the thumb like you're driving a car right along this wonderful natural road. And notice how it switches onto here,
Keep driving up, up, up. And you'll find the pressure point right around there. You go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take the thumb off, put it on the pocket of the elbow, fingers here, and grip and massage with the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 5. And then drive the thumb down this natural line. Keep going down, 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 like a massage the entire way. And then just before the pulse, you'll find a pressure point and massage. 1, 2. And then hand here for the pulse, and then hand here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close. Close your eyes. Inhale, white line to the belly. And spread the whole body with the sound, washing the bone marrow all over. Inhale, foot to head, white light, toes to the top of the head, like a tidal wave rider. Exhale, head to heels, like a waterfall down the back. Inhale, the left side, white light. Exhale down the right side. Inhale, white light to the belly. Exhale down the legs into the ground and come back up and around like a fountain in reverse. One more time. Inhale, white light to the belly. Exhale, push it to the top of the head like a fountain going in all directions. Making a big bubble light around you. Now, gratitude for the body, good people in your life, the space that you're in. And thank you guys, as usual, for training. This is Tai Chi to the people. I'm Coach Jan. And thank you so much, Sam, for joining today. I'm so happy that, and anybody and everybody, this is really an open session. So everybody is welcome to come on these. Just reach out or put in the comments that you want to join, and we can always just build a larger group for these Tuesday 5 p.m. Pacific time training sessions. So patreon.com/Jan's Tai Chi. You can support my channel and help produce more great videos. Realworld.com is, of course, a major component of what I'm doing. And check us out, wefunder.com/realworld, the world's first social film studio. It's a cinematic social network. And a lot of the Tai Chi principles have been used to build this company. So I hope you check that out and see what we're doing. Our first show is Justice for Hire, the world's first martial arts cinematic universe. And anybody can join the cast of our show. We're producing it with people around the world. So wherever you are in the world, you can be a part of it. And so go to justiceforhire.com to check us out there too. And I love you guys. Press subscribe on the channel and give us a like and have a great day. Thank you, Sam. See you guys soon. Bye.